Oh,
Yes.
okay, fantastic. Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to the webinar. I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Bobbi Joe Massey of UnitedHealthOne. Um, we'll get to that in a second. We're going to talk fixed indemnity, but little housekeeping beforehand. Today I'm flying solo. My colleague, Brad Porcella, is busy today, but so I'll be flying solo, and just bear with me as I pull these levers of technology. But if you have a question, you'll put that in the question box and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. Okay. I want to point out big doings backed by popular demand. The Broker Expo for individual products is going to occur this spring, this time two venues for your enjoyment. We've got one in Cleveland, like last year at the Cleveland Zoo. That's going to be on April 30th. And then a new venue, a second date, May 1st at Bowling Green State University. And of course, that's in Bowling Green, Ohio, halfway between Findlay and Toledo, right there on I-75. We hope you can make it. Type Expo in the chat for a link to the registration or just shoot me an email. And without further ado, I'm going to toss things to Bobbi Joe. Bobbi Joe, let's get this going here. Okay, I'll make you the presenter.
Sounds good.
Okay.
While Jeff does that, I want to say just a quick call out to their expo. So it is a great event for multiple different reasons, knowledge, networking. Don't miss it. It's a great opportunity. So hope that we can see you guys at that event. All right.
All right,
Well,
we can see your screen. We're rocking and rolling.
awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. So, thank you so much, Jeff, for giving me this opportunity to be here today. As Jeff said, my name is Bobbi Joe Massey. I'm the National FMO Account Executive here at United Healthcare. United Healthcare, when you think about us as a company, we have several different divisions. So, you've got your Medicare division, you have your ACA division, you have a group division, and then you have where I'm coming from, which is our United Healthcare Golden Rule Division, which is our short term and ancillary division. So, the purpose of today's session was to really help you as a broker outside of ACA open enrollment with product options. As we all know, September 1 of last year, a really strong product for us short term. The duration was clipped to 4-month durations. We're very optimistic that hopefully at some point in this year that maybe that can return back to a 1-year duration. But in the interim, we must talk about some options that your clients have. And the biggest product that your options could lean into is going to be that Health Protector Guard product. So I want to talk about that today, get you guys comfortable with it in the environment that we're in right now. And then we'll close out with our bonus opportunity. I always like to throw extra cash at agents. You guys are so busy, you work very hard, and commissions are great, but it is also nice to have some extra bonus dollars on top of that. So without further ado, I want to talk about Health Protector Guard. Again, an option for consumers who potentially outside of ACA open enrollment, don't have a qualifying life event, maybe ACA is too expensive, they're not getting a premium subsidy, or maybe they have some challenges with ACA in the fact that the network is too narrow, maybe, geographically based or state based. So we have this great product to consider that has done extremely well, unbelievably well since September 1, when short term duration was shortened to that 4 months. But as we always talk about a new product, I always like to point out the things that it is and the things that it isn't, right? So it's important for your customers to know that Health Protector Guard is not ACA compliant, it is not major medical, and it is simplified underwriting. It is not guarantee issued like ACA. On the other half, if you look on the right-hand side, Health Protector Guard is a fixed benefit plan. Hospital indemnity, you hear a lot of different words out in the industry, and it is available all year round. So you don't have to worry about specific open enrollment periods. It is a product that is renewable to age 65. So, unlike short term, you've got to do 4 months or 12 months, and then you got to come back and, go through a reapply and underwriting all over again. This is a vehicle that will work for the client once we're issuing them coverage, that it'll be guaranteed renewable to age 65. It's kind of a product whereas you could set it and forget it, right? Sell it, now you can set it for them and just forget about it until they age into Medicare. I really like that this Health Protector Guard hospital indemnity or fixed indemnity plan does not have a deductible. There are many carriers out there that will have a deductible, and ours does not. That does make it a true first dollar coverage plan. And then again, I really like it that it is renewable to age 65. You do not have to worry about clients having to re-enroll, going through new underwriting. It'll just be, again, like I said, set it for them and forget it until they turn age 65. A little bit about the product information. The primary insured and spouse must be between the ages of 18 to 65. And then dependent children in most of our states can stay on their parents' plan up to age 26. We do not have any child-only plans. The product does have a 12-month initial rate guarantee, but I will tell you this product has been around since, I want to say, like 2017, and I really haven't seen any rate increases occurring on this type of product. So if that kind of gives you some idea of what that renewal will look like as they renew up to age 65. And then a caveat just to know and to point out to your consumers in the sale process is there are 2 waiting periods. There is a 30-day wait period for preventive care, and then there is a 12-month wait for pre-existing conditions. So whatever they have had happen to them within the last year, as they get issued this coverage, that 1-year look back of pre-ex has a 1-year wait. Now, when you're quoting this product, there are so many plans. There are 12 plans to choose from, so it can be very overwhelming. And I like to simplify that for you. If this helps you at all, this will tell you what our best sellers are. So when you're selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these plans, the behaviors of the agents kind of show you what the market is dictating, client needs, broker best solution for the client. And so we like to lean into this knowledge or information to best help new agents selling the product. So as you can see, our best seller is the Choice 1 plan. It is the lowest plan that we sell, right? We've got your Choice is the lowest. You're working your way up to a Select, a Preferred, and a Premier is the richest. And then your 1, 2, 3 is 1 is your lowest, 2 is in the middle, and 3 is the highest. So Choice 1 is really that low end product. Typically, we see that Choice 1 being sold alongside of some other core medical, whether it's ACA or a group plan, a faith-based ministry plan, typically alongside of some other core medical. The number 2 seller being that Premier 3, that is the richest plan we offer. Now, that's where we typically see that in a situation where a client steers away from other core options for whatever reason that may be. Again, maybe pricing for other options. It might be network for other options. Maybe it's just they don't have access to a core medical. That's where we then see this Premier 3 kind of standing up on its own with a couple ancillary products kind of bundled in with it to build up that coverage as much as possible. So for today, I really am going to hone in on the number 1 seller, Choice 1, and the number 2 seller, Premier 3, remembering who that kind of works for. Choice 1, primarily with some other core medical, and then that Premier 3, typically we see that kind of standing up on its own. Plan maximums. So there is a 2 million calendar year maximum, and that is per person. Then there is a 5 million lifetime maximum per person. Now, as we talked about the plan and how we choose that plan name, choice, select, preferred, premier, and that 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to kind of lay that out for you as it's outlined into your product brochure, and then we'll kind of go through the benefits itself. So first, what the client would be doing as their step number 1 is they're going to be choosing one of those 4 base plans. So core plan would be either choice, select, preferred, or premier. Remember, choice is the lowest, premier is the richest. When they're looking at choosing this core medical plan, this is working on their critical medical services, things like hospital, surgery, emergency room, lab and x-ray, chemo and radiation. That's where they're working on step 1. Let's find that base plan for them. Then step 2 is where they're going to come in and choose their level of works. Works, we like to classify it as an abbreviation for wellness, office visits, and prescription. And 1 would be the lowest benefit, and 2 in the center, and then 3 would be the richest. So remember what I said earlier, choice 1 is typically sold alongside of core medical, our bestseller. It's the lowest plan we have. Premier, richest plan, 3, richest level, is the one that we typically see standing up on its own. Keep that in mind. So what I did today is I grabbed the grid right out of your product brochure you have access to in your broker portal if you are contracted with us. If you are not contracted with us, please reach out to Cornerstone so that you can have access to this product as well as many other products that we offer. But again, step 1, we're looking at the core plan. So they got to determine, do I want choice, select, preferred, or premier? Choice 1 was our bestseller alongside a core medical, premier, richest plan, typically sold by itself. You're going to see the benefits laid out in the brochure. Again, remember, no deductible. So right away, when they have any of these services rendered, this is the dollar amount that we will be paying out to the client or the provider. And so you'll see hospital confinement. Year 1, it's going to be $1,000 on choice or $5,000 every night in the hospital on premier. And then in years 2 and beyond, you're going to see it doubles. So in years 2 and beyond, choice would be $2,000 a night in the hospital, whereas premier would be $10,000 a night in the hospital. Now, when they're in ICU or critical care, that pays in addition to the hospital confinement, right? Because they're in ICU or critical care, but they're also getting their hospital confinement charge. So they're going to get paid out for these 2 items. They kind of stack on top of each other. So if they were in ICU on the choice plan in year 1, they're going to get the $1,000 for the night in the hospital, and they're also going to get $1,000 because they're in ICU. Or if it was the premier plan in year 1, they're going to get $5,000 because they're in the hospital and $5,000 additionally because they're in ICU. Then you're going to see a hospital admission benefit. It pays out upon the first inpatient day. Choice is $1,000 and premier is $3,000. Then you're going to see our emergency room benefit, $400 depending on plan, up to $1,000 per day. And as you look at the brochure, you're going to see sometimes where we'll have some max allowables. So that's where you're going to see here emergency room. They're allowed 1 visit per year, and this is based off of calendar year. So if they bought it now, benefits would start all over January 1. Then you've got the ambulance. We do break out the ground and water versus air ambulance, obviously very different in pricing. So ground and water, it's going to be either $500 or $1,000 per trip. And air ambulance on all 4 plans is going to be $5,000 per trip. But you'll see here above again, this will be in your brochure, that they get 2 trips per person per calendar year. 2 trips per person per calendar year. Anything beyond these max allowables on the plan would be the client's responsibility. However, they would be able to take advantage of the UnitedHealthcare network repricing. And that's something that is very huge when we talk about a plan like this. So I will be touching on that here in just a moment. This is a PPO plan, but I do encourage that they stay in network so they can take advantage of our network repricing. Now, in a couple slides, I'm going to go through the actual surgery payout schedule because you're going to see a range here. So we're going to skip over that, and I'm going to talk about that a couple slides ahead of where we're at. But I also want to point out that there is an outpatient facility fee that pays out because nowadays it is so often that we find surgeries are being performed on an outpatient basis. So it is important that we have some payout dollars for the consumer for that service. So you're going to see the choice plan, $1,000 for that outpatient facility, and the premier plan, $2,500 for that outpatient facility for that surgery. Now, in addition to these benefits, you're also going to have then your outpatient lab, x-ray, diagnostic, your tier 2 imaging, and you're going to see the set dollar amount that pays out per test and how many tests they get per year. So you're going to see between all of the lab and x-ray, they're going to get either 4 or 5 tests per person per year. And if I were to just kind of look at that middle tier, you're going to see things like your ultrasound, EKG, EEG, $30 per test, or if it's the premier plan, $100 per test. And then your, larger scale diagnostic or imaging, which is going to be things like your MRI, your PET scan, your CAT scan. In the choice plan, it's $250 per test, and the premier plan, $500 per test. Oral chemotherapy, you'll see, is $1,000 per month with a maximum of 3 months in a calendar year. And then below that, you're going to see the outpatient chemo, radiation, immunotherapy. That is either going to be $1,000 per day or $2,000 per day, depending upon the plan that the customer chooses. And then they're either going to see either 20 days or 40 days per calendar year. Now, here's that surgery schedule, and this, again, is right out of your product brochure. UnitedHealthcare breaks down surgeries by level of severity. And so you're going to see at level 1 is top tier surgery, and level tier 7 at the bottom is going to be your lower end type of surgeries, your tonsils, adenoids, those types of things. And we kind of give you an idea of where these surgeries would fall in, but otherwise, if it's not specifically called out in your tier 1 through 7, the client can always call us and better understand where that falls into play on that tier schedule. But what I want to point out real quickly is the choice plan is the low-end product, and it's got the lowest surgery payout, whereas the select, preferred, and premier are identical. So it doesn't matter on surgery whether they choose select, preferred, or premier because they all are the exact same payout. I'm going to use that premier plan as an example as we kind of walk through how this would pay out to a client, because benefits, like I mentioned earlier, stack, right? When you're in the hospital and you're in ICU, they stack on top of each other. The surgery does the same thing. The whole plan works that way. Whatever services are rendered that are called out in this benefit grid must be paid out. And so if a client, if we used Premier as an example, had a tier 1 surgery they're going to get a $50,000 payout. And then what happens with at the very bottom, you're going to see the assistant surgeon and anesthesiologist paying out. It pays out a percentage of whatever their surgery pays out. So in this situation, the assistant surgeon, 20% of that $50,000 is going to be an additional $10,000 for the assistant surgeon. And then the anesthesiologist is 30% of that $50,000 for the surgery that is paid out for that anesthesiologist. So it's an additional $15,000. So now altogether, this surgery is going to pay out $75,000. Now, likely it's going to happen inpatient. So you have to think about that too. They're likely going to have a hospital payout that's going to occur. I don't know if maybe they would be in ICU. So there's, again, so many pieces of that stack on top of each other and would be then paying out to the, it automatically assigns benefits to the provider like a true insurance plan would, unless the client says that they want the benefits paid out directly to them. So what I mean by that is when they use this insurance card at the hospital, we're going to pay that $75,000 out to the hospital or whatever is still owed there, because maybe it's not $75,000, maybe it's only $60,000. So then we're only going to pay $60,000 to the hospital and $15,000 out cash to the client. So any overage gets paid to the customer, but otherwise, typically how the plan works, we pay your providers or your facilities with any overage getting paid via check to the client. Unless when the client purchases this plan, they send us a message letting us know that they want to assign all their benefits to themselves, meaning don't pay my doctors and facilities for me, just give me the money and I will pay my bills. Now that's the core plan that they're choosing, right? The choice, select, preferred, premier. As we went through hospital, ambulance, ER, lab and x-ray, surgery, we went through chemo and radiation. That's the core of what pays out in this plan. That's step one. Once they've determined that plan that they want, we have to remember, we have to then lean into the step two, which is their works, wellness, office visits, and prescriptions. So level one is your lowest end. Level three is the richest of benefits. Again, as we talk about wellness, remember there's an initial 30-day wait period. And I like to spend some time on this one because oftentimes people feel that they're using insurance more for preventive services because, you know, maybe they're healthy or somewhat healthy and they're like, I'm never going to use my insurance plan. I'm only going to use it for preventive care. So I like to lean into this and kind of talk about how this pays out to the consumer, because this is likely where they're going to be using more of the services, right? The other things happen when accidents, critical illnesses, you know, significant illnesses occur. That's when they're going to use those other benefits. And we all hope that that never happens to us. But preventive is important. It is important that clients get the care that they need, do all of their preventive measures. Early detection for anything is so important. So as we look at this wellness, I'm just going to focus in on that level 3 benefit, which is the richest. But you can see all of them laid out here for you. The physical, their wellness physical, $125 once per year. They're going to have some lab, $100, 2 tests a year. They're going to have x-ray, $100 for a test per year. They're going to have an adult flu shot, $25. And then childhood immunizations and flu shot is $25. And then we've got some child allergy treatments, 10 treatments per year, $10 per treatment. And then bone density. This is for somebody who's over the age of 40. You will see it is not covered in levels 1 or 2. Bone density is only on level 3, whereas it's paying out $150 for that exam. Mammogram. This is for females over the age of 30. Year 1, you're going to see it's going to be either $100 or $150, depending on the level. And in years 2 and beyond, the benefit increases. So if it was on level 3, year 2 and beyond for a mammogram, it's going to be a $225 payment. Same kind of thing works for that pap smear and PSA testing, is that you've got a dollar amount that will pay out in year 1, so $100 in year 1, and then in years 2 and beyond, it's going to be $150. This is really to encourage customers to stay on the plans into that year 2, where then they'll see some of these higher payout amounts and have some ability within the first 2 years to really use their plan, see how it works. Once they see how this works, they're going to be happy with how it pays out. The EKG and stress, EKG is not on levels 1 and 2. It is only on level 3, $100 or $125 per test. That's why I really like, regardless of the core plan that someone's purchasing, even if it is that choice plan, I really like to, encourage that level 3 for works. Now you're going to see colonoscopy. It is listed under the preventive for somebody 50 and older. But it is important to point out that it also says for illness related too. So it is not just for preventive. It is for illness related measures as well, whereas the client is going to get $300 or $500 that pays out for that test. And this is where I lean into the United Healthcare Network repricing to try and show you how a customer can somewhat get whole on that $500 for a colonoscopy. And we'll talk about that and a couple slides ahead here as we talk about our network repricing, because that really is going to stretch the client's dollars. That's why I say it's a PPO plan. They can see whoever they want, but I really encourage they stay in network. Now, this was the wellness. We also have to look at the office visits and prescriptions that come with this. So you're going to see how many visits they get per year, 4, 5, or 6 in year 1 for office visits. And then years 2 and beyond, it's going to be either 6, 7, or 8 visits per person per calendar year. And the set dollar amount that they're going to get paid for a doctor's office visit. Maybe it's a specialist or urgent care. And then you'll see the one below that's an office visit in the office. Surgery in lieu of kind of a doctor or specialist or urgent care visit, and the set dollar amount that pays out. So tier 3 is going to be office visit, doctor office visit, $125, urgent care or specialist, $150. And then I do like to point out the therapy too, because yes, it has physical, occupational, speech therapy only on levels 2 and 3, but it also has chiropractic. That is a big one that customers like to see that they have a benefit on their plan for. So again, chiropractic as well as physical, occupational, and speech therapy, not on level 1, but it is on levels 2 and 3. On level 3, it's $45 per visit, 10 visits per year. And then as it relates to our prescription, we do have Optum Perks with this. So Optum Perks discount. It averages 30 to 80% off on prescription. So we do encourage that they try to use the Optum Perks discount at their pharmacy. And then beyond that discount, they're going to get $40 or $60 that are going to be paid out for brand drugs. And then $10 or $20 paid out for generic drugs. You're going to see the amount of fills that they get in year 1, and then years 2 and beyond, it is stretched. So that is a lot to kind of absorb, right? We've got to work with the 4 core plans that the client wants to look at and choose from. Choice ranging at the lowest end, Premier at the richest end, and then the level of works, 1, 2, or 3. 1 being the lowest, 3 being the richest. As I said earlier, the way that we can really bring in some benefit to a consumer is leveraging our United Healthcare PPO network. So the United Healthcare PPO network is the Choice Plus network. It is the largest network in the nation. I've been in this role for approximately 13 or 14 years now. So this was, pre-ACA days. I've seen all what has transpired in the industry. I've seen all the networks out there. This is the largest network out there. Access to over 7,000 hospitals, over 1.8 million physicians. It is a national network. So if they buy this plan in Ohio, it can work for them in California, Texas, Florida, Wisconsin, where I am. It will work for them all over the United States. It is the same network that we use on our United Healthcare group side of the business. So it does have a lot of buying power with those providers and facilities. Our network repricing was 56%, but it has now increased to an average of 58% discount. 58% discount. That's impressive. So let's just say that a client goes to the get their colonoscopy done, because we talked about that Premier 3, like that 3 having a $500 payout on the colonoscopy. Let's just say, for example, that the colonoscopy is $2,000. And United Healthcare, let's just say, just to keep my numbers simple, we only discount it 50%. That drops that colonoscopy from $2,000 down to, if it was 50%, $1,000. The client is going to get paid out $500 from their health protector guard plan, and they would then be responsible for the additional $500. But that really gave them a $2,000 service where they only paid $500 out of their pocket. I always encourage that they shop their services. So, right, I can go to my local store here and I can shop for the best price on a laptop or a camera, whatever it is that I want to purchase. I can shop around and get the best price. That is the most important thing in a plan like this, in any medical plan, a client should be doing. Shop your services. Get to the lowest price possible that you're comfortable with, right, by the provider or facility. So that way you are stretching that dollar as much as you possibly can, so that you're basically trying to get the least out of pocket possible. And we can do that through our network search tool. When the client goes into their member portal and they search for providers, we will list for them. You'll see this little dollar icon by the provider's name when it says they're in our network. It will then list for them if they are above average pricing, or below average pricing. We're going to want the client to kind of lean into that below average pricing or average, so that they can, maybe then the colonoscopy is only $1,500. And then let's say 50% discount, $750 is the new price. And they get paid $500 from the Health Protector Guard plan. They're then only responsible for $250. Again, I cannot say this enough. Use our network to try and save as much as we possibly can for the consumer, but also shop the provider. Get to the lowest price possible in that network search tool. The other thing that the client can do is they can get a cost estimation. I personally use this, I think it was 3 years ago now, or is it 4 years ago? I had a neck surgery, and I went out here, I did my cost estimation tool by the hospital and provider I was going to be utilizing, and I really honed in on that facility that I was comfortable with, but also that I could get myself the best price. So it doesn't matter if somebody's on a group plan like I am, I still want to get the least amount of out of pocket possible to myself. A client is still gonna want to do that on this Health Protector Guard plan. So I encourage that. And then, as I said earlier, it is underwritten, and height and weight does play a role in this product. So in your producer guide, you're going to see a height and weight chart. If the client is above the weight maximum, they're going to be an auto decline. We do not look at height and weight, though, for children. So this would just be for the adults, and the adults could not stretch beyond this weight maximum. And this build chart is in the producer guide for you. I also encourage that you check out the producer guide for this product to help you with your field's underwriting, because you're going to see real quickly on page 10 of the producer guide some of our auto declinable conditions, right? Big things like, cancer, except for basal cell or squamous cell, diabetes, except for gestational, heart disease, some of those big ticket items. This is going to be a product that they're going to be an auto decline for. So look at this, have it available so that you can use it in your field underwriting and really know when you need to shift away from this and then maybe lean into the ACA option, which is guarantee issued. You'll also see on page 11 of the producer guide some additional reasons whereas someone would be an auto decline, and that would be just within the last 12 months when we're looking at some unexplained situations, unexplained seizures, and things that might be happening. So now positioning this product, and I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier as we kind of got started in the presentation today, but I will kind of talk about when to consider this product or to use it, right? It's a need-based selling approach. Everybody's needs are very different. Number one would be that ancillary wrapper or complement an ACA plan, a group plan, a ministry plan. In that situation, we typically see kind of that choice one being sold. Clients who are looking for an expanded network. So again, maybe it is their options for network, whatever that core medical will be, isn't going to work for them. And maybe it's, like I see happening on ACA, it's sometimes, depending where you are, it's state-based or geographically based, and it's not a nationwide network. So that might be a reason why they would lean into the Health Protector Guard plan. Maybe it's because they're outside of an ACA open enrollment and they don't have a qualifying life event. And then number 4, this one is really where we see that Premier 3 being sold. So clients who are saying, ACA is too expensive for me. I'm not getting a premium subsidy. The network is too narrow. These would be some of the reasons to use a product like Health Protector Guard. But I always say, when you use the Health Protector Guard, if it is not being sold with other core medical, that we do wrap around that critical illness and an accident plan. So just looking at some of the value propositions, we talked about the network. That is very huge for a customer when you can get an average 58% discount. It's like going to your doctor or your facility and taking in a coupon for 58% off. So use that as much as they possibly can. This basically helps with that out-of-pocket assistance. And we do have a MedSense post-claims negotiation service. So that way, if by chance the client has some type of service rendered, we network reprice it and we pay out the benefit, and they're still left with some significant dollars that they would be responsible for, then we would really want that client calling MedSense. MedSense is a post-claims negotiation service that will work their hardest to drop down those out-of-pocket expenses as much as possible for a client. There is no deductible. That's got that multi-tiered surgery schedule. We've got the wellness office visits. We also have the unlimited teledoc that comes along with it. And then prescriptions, there's the benefit within the plan, but then we also have the Optum Perks discount. And then you'll see some of the benefits that increase in years 2 and beyond. This just kind of explains how that stacking of benefits works. And we used real claims that came in, but we changed obviously the client's name. But this would be for a client on that lower end product. So choice is the lowest product. Tier was in the middle for office visits. And so here was an office visit. Whereas it was $140. The provider they used, we were able to reprice it down to $91, and the plan paid out $100. The lab that they had done, so maybe it was they went to the doctor because they thought they had strep throat. It was a $30 cost. We were able to reprice it down through our network repricing to $15, and the plan paid out $50. So now the total cost to the client was $106. However, the plan paid out $150. So we will pay the providers for the client, so that way they don't have any bills to pay. And then the overage goes to the customer via check. So whenever a client gets a check in the mail from us, they are safe to cash it. I get, brokers calling me all the time saying, my client got a check in the mail and they think you guys might have messed up on something. That's not the case. So if they get a check in the mail, they're safe to cash it. So when this client gets $43.15 in the mail via check, she's safe to cash it. Another example that we used was we grabbed a claim on Preferred 3. This was almost to the richest plan, and it's the level 3 is the richest of wellness office visits and prescriptions, but that didn't come into play for this type of claims example. You're going to see emergency room, original cost after network repricing, $862. They had they were in the hospital. The original cost, $19,000, almost $20,000. We're able to reprice it down by that hospital they used to just over $12,000. And then they also had some other services that were rendered that were just over $4,000. We were able to reprice it down to just over $2,600. So you'll see the final charge after network repricing was 15 and a half, basically $15,700. The plan is going to pay out what it had to with any overage to the client. So the plan for that $862 charge at the emergency room was only going to be paying out $500. So the client would be responsible for the additional $362. Now, the hospital room and board for this plan repriced it down to just over $12,000, but the plan has to pay $21,000 out. So there's going to be some overage there. And then for the other services rendered, the $2,600, it was not covered on the plan at all. So that would be solely their responsibility. So what happens is we pay these dollar amounts out to the providers. So $500 to the emergency room, and only what's due at the hospital. So $12,244 was due to the hospital. So we're only going to give the hospital that amount, and the overage gets paid to the client. So we kind of lump that together, that $500 to the ER and the $12,244 to the hospital. That's the total $12,744 is paid out to providers. Now, the client would have some responsibility still on the ER and some responsibility on some of those other charges. So they still have $3,000 left of some charges, but we have this overage that occurred in the hospital room and board. So we're going to send a check to the client for $8,755. They can use that money to pay off their $3,000 left expenses, and the rest is theirs. They use this money however they see fit. When it's paid out to them, any of that overage is their money to use however they want to use it. That was kind of complex. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me post-presentation, or if you'd like to kind of see this example again. But as I said, when you are selling Health Protector Guard, we do encourage that we work within some of the other Golden Rule, United Healthcare, ancillary coverages. I just, quickly hopped out on the exchange to just see what in your area, Cincinnati, Ohio, for a 45-year-old male, what an ACA plan would look like as far as pricing. The lowest option was Oscar, and then for about $15 more was the Ambetter option. And you'll see both of them, though, had that same max out of pocket, which is typical on an ACA bronze plan. This one was $7,500 for their plan deductible, with a max out of pocket of $9,200. And it was going to cost the client $372. it is an HMO network. Now, they could look at this Health Protector Guard plan. It is a PPO plan, nationwide network. It does not have a deductible. The max out of pocket is not quantifiable. And both of the products are guaranteed renewable to age 65. We've got a lower price here, almost $100 cheaper than that ACA option. Remember here too, there was a catastrophic situation that occurred with an ACA plan. The client has $9,200 out of pocket, and they're not fully insulated from all of their claims. I do hear from brokers that their clients didn't have everything that they had services rendered, covered on an ACA plan. So an ACA plan isn't guaranteed to cover all expenses. So you can't say that that's truly their max out of pocket, because there are things that ACA plans don't cover. The other thing to point out is ACA. If we were to kind of look at, let's just say, if it was $25 per member per month, this commission would be about $300 a year. This Health Protector Guard commission is over $1,000 a year. It's almost quadruple of that of an ACA option. So let's just say that they do go ahead with that Health Protector Guard plan, that richest Premier 3, and that was the $286 pricing. I do suggest that they bring in accident and critical illness for some additional layers of protection. That's the time when clients are going to see some really significant claims, right? It's going to happen in an accident or a critical illness situation. For $47 extra, we can go ahead and give them $20,000 in cash for an accident. And then for just about $70 more a month, we can give them $75,000 for a critical illness. Cancer, heart attack, stroke, ALS, Alzheimer's, coma, all of the things that are included within this critical illness plan. So now if you look at that total price with these 3 plans, for just over $400 a month in premium. So these 3 plans together is just $30 more than the ACA plan. So it could be more encompassing potentially, being that there's no deductible here, and they're getting $75,000 for critical illness, $20,000 for cash. And then this, again, Health Protector Guard has no deductible, so it's first dollar benefits. If we look at that as it relates to commissions, this is not specific to your commission schedule. It's just average, general, but it gives you an idea of, again, that ACA plan. If you sold it in and by itself, say it's $25 per member per month, you're looking at $300 a year commission. In this situation, the Health Protector Guard, $100 a month. $16 a month on the accident, just over $40 a month on the critical illness. Wrap that all together, you're looking at about $160 a month commission, almost $2,000 a year. So great way for you to be able to get clients the coverage that possibly they need because they can't afford ACA, or maybe it is a network situation. Here might be an option to consider. Just all I ask is that you take a look at it. So some other takeaways, I just want to share with you some averages of per member per month premiums. Remember, Choice was the lowest and Product Premier richest. Choice 1 is an average of $95 per member per month, and your Premier 3 richest plan average $232 per month. But remember, this is a range from 18 to 64. So an 18-year-old is going to be definitely lower priced than a 64-year-old. So this is just giving you an average across all age bands and nationally. The client is going to get several communication points after the sale, because we want them to clearly understand what they've purchased. They're going to get their welcome email. They're going to get some informational stuff. They're going to get information that points them to their member portal. That is where they're going to find all of their tools and resources to use this plan. And then they're also going to get a video of how the plan works, just as another step after the sale, so they understand what they buy, because they do have a 10-day free look period. And the thing I like about it is it works like insurance would. It comes with a ID card. It comes with United Healthcare on that ID card, a PPO network that's leverage into the hospital or provider. And claims are processed originally like insurance would. We pay the doctors or facilities first, any overage to the client. But if the client wants to get all of their claims paid directly to them, they can let us know before services are rendered, and we'll just pay them instead if that's what they desire. And then they also get the United Healthcare Optum Perks prescription discount card. So next steps for you guys. I would encourage, while this is fresh in your mind, to hop out into your broker portal, uhone.com/broker. Do some quoting in your area. Check it out. All your pre-sale materials, as I talked about, brochures and producer guides, they will be available for you under that brochures, sales tools, and training tab. If you want to take a webinar again on this product, if you want to see those examples of the claims stacking out and paying on top of each other, that is out there for you to re-listen to this webinar. One thing that's brand new, I would say 3-4 weeks old, is this product resource center. I encourage you guys to take a look at it. It is so beneficial to you as an agent because it is a one-stop shop for all things specific to whichever product you choose. It'll take you through a tunnel of everything Health Protector Guard related, or everything dental related, or everything accident related. It is great. So again, brand new tool for you. Please check out that product resource center. You can check the products we have by states in case you are selling in some non-resident markets. And then lastly, as I said, I do want to take advantage of more money in your pocket. And that is the bonus program that we have going on right now. So it's called Get Fit. It is for January, February, March, and April, 4 months. January, February, March, and April. Plenty of time for you to get some payout here. You do have to have a minimum of 15 policies sold. So it's not per person, it's policies. And so I give that example because what if you sold a Health Protector Guard with the accident I talked about and Critical Guard? That's 3 policies, even though it's 1 member. It's still going to count as 3 policies to this 15 baseline. So you got to get to that 15 minimum for us to pay you back to app number 1. You'll see all the products that we have on this bonus program. So we just talked about Health Protector Guard really today in a deep dive, but look at all these other products that we have available. It's important that I point out too, really to get the benefit of this bonus, you do want your clients paying their premiums via EFT. So choose EFT for their premium payments so that you can get all of these payouts per product. If you were to bundle that 3 product together, Health Protector Guard, the accident, and critical illness that we used as our example today, on top of your commissions, it's going to be $250 bonus. $250 bonus. So take advantage of that extra cash in your pocket. And then lastly, just why to consider United Healthcare. We're the largest health insurance carrier in the United States, ranked number 5 in Fortune 500, A+ superior by AM Best, over 80 years experience in the individual market space. Our brand stands on its own, right? It's a brand that everybody is aware of. It cuts down on your sales cycle. Sometimes when you talk to a client about a carrier that they've never heard of, you got to stop in your sale process, build trust for that carrier before you can proceed forward in the process. And that typically doesn't happen with United Healthcare. Hopefully everybody's heard United Healthcare. We have an easy quote and enroll tool. I love to point that out because, gosh, would that be now 2 years ago? We launched a pathway that you as an agent can submit an app for a client. Yes, you do the quote, you complete the application, you enter their payment information, and you submit the application. That makes your sale process so easy. You do not have to wait for your client to sign an application. You do it for them. And that allows you to close that sale and then move on. Start working on more new business instead of chasing down a client to get their signature. Prompt and accurate claims is a huge one. This is why many, many, many big FMO partners will work with United Healthcare. 90% of our claims are processed in 8 days or less, with a 99.8% claims payment accuracy. 90% of claims, 8 days or less, 99.8% claims payment accuracy. Put your clients in a plan that they know their claims are going to get paid and paid promptly. Then we had all of our product options. We saw some of them on the bonus program. Not all of them are even on the bonus program. So you really can be a one-stop shop all under the United Healthcare roof because we have all of the products. And then we have our bonus opportunities. So if there are any questions, hopefully Jeff was able to answer some as we maybe were checking the questions or chat box. If you do have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to the Broker Service Center or myself. We've been on this call together for about an hour, and so I'm not always readily available. So if you need something immediately, use that Broker Service Center. If it's something that can wait, you can absolutely reach out to me, phone or email. A lot of tools and resources are available to you as well as in your broker portal. So with that, I do want to thank each and every one of you for your time today, and kind of switch it back over to Jeff to see if there was any closing remarks or if there was any questions or concerns that we should address.
Yeah, thanks so much, Bobbi Jo. Great job.
You're welcome.
Just a couple thoughts, a couple questions here. Does the plan cover telehealth services?
Yes, so embedded into the Health Protector Guard plan, they're going to get free teledoc visits.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's see. Tell me about out-of-network care. I know the Choice Plus network is pretty all-encompassing, but how do things work if it's out-of-network?
Yeah, it is very rare that somebody would not be able to access the United Healthcare network because it is so robust. But should there become a situation whereas they go to the provider and they are not in our network, the plan will still have to pay out its set dollar amount that it is supposed to pay out. So let's say that doctor office visit pays out $150 because of the plan they purchased. Regardless of the provider they use, it's going to pay out $150. Typically, though, in an out-of-network situation, the provider is not going to submit claims for the client. And so we need the client then to submit that claim to us so we can give them the $150.
And that's such a rare circumstance because the Choice Plus network is incredible. It's an incredible network. I think pretty much every hospital in Ohio is covered under that. Fantastic, everybody. I appreciate you joining us today. I want to point out that everybody will get a copy of this presentation. And by all means, if you're not appointed with UH1, give myself or Brad a shout, shoot an email to us, and we'll get you started. I think that does it for me. Any final thoughts, Bobbi Jo?
No, I just want to wish you all a very successful 2025. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, Jeff, or Brad.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Everybody
Thank you. Have a great day.